Hi guys, today I am going to show you how I made this yarn wig for my Ragatha cosplay. But first, supplies. You will need a yarn for the base, ideally in the same color as the actual wig, the yarn for the wig itself, a crochet hook that matches the base yarn. I used both 6 and 7mm hooks, a pair of scissors, a needle, and a latch hook. To get started, we're going to start by making a magic circle with 6 single crochet inside of the magic circle. There are other ways to start beanies and other round things in crochet. However, the magic circle is my favorite method because I personally do not like the slightly visible hole that you get from other methods. With this method, you can close that hole down really tight. I put a stitch marker in my first stitch because I will be working in continuous rounds and not slip stitching into the start of each row. Instead, I will remove that stitch marker and just keep working as one continuous round. For the next row, there will be 2 single crochets or an increase in every single stitch. So you will have a total of 12 stitches at the end. Once again, remove the stitch marker and continue working your next row. The third row will be an increase and then 1 single crochet, and then another increase and then another single crochet. The row after that will be 1 increase, 2 single crochets, 1 increase, 2 single crochets. The next row will be 1 increase, 3 single crochets. And just keep doing that same pattern until you get to about 6 inches across is an average size for a 22-inch-ish head. Once you get to about 6 inches, switch to just straight rounds of single crochets, no more increases, until you get to your desired length. I aimed to hit and just barely cover the tips of my ears. Here you can see me binding off by slip stitching into the next stitch and pulling through, and then I start to weave in my ends. And just like that, the beanie base is done. You'll want to find a box that's about the same length that you want the wefts to be when they're done. I taped one edge of the yarn to the edge of the box and then just started wrapping around until I had a bunch and then cut them all off, and there are the wefts. From here, you'll start to put the latch hook through each stitch, fold the yarn in half, put the folded piece into the hook, pull it through the stitch, wrap the yarn around the hook again, and then pull through the stitch again. And that's how you tie on each strand of hair. Now, you're going to want to skip stitches. I went for about every other stitch in one row, and then the next row up, I did the other every other stitch, and then I skipped a few rows, and I did that same process again with every other stitch and then the opposite stitches in the next row. I did that probably 5 or 6 times until I finished off the entire head of hair. For the first 3 or 4 passes, I went fully in a circle, but around here, I start switching to more of a U shape so that the hair has a more natural part. Once we got this close to the top, I kind of stopped skipping stitches because I wanted it to be really full at the part, And here is the wig all finished. Now, on to styling it. I started by marking the bangs while wearing the wig because it is very easy to cut bangs far too short. And the rest of the wig, I just kind of went at it with the scissors, cutting messy layers in wherever it looked like it needed it. Um, I went to about the bottom of the wig head for actual length. I would not recommend this style of cutting for many wigs. However, for somebody with a short, choppy style like Ragatha, it works. And once again, here is the final wig all finished. Hope this helps.